Hello crafters, I'm Jan B and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card, which I'm calling Ribbon Rose Wonder. The die cut of the rose is from Rose Wonder, and behind the rose it's ribbon. And that's a technique that I'm going to share with you today. Very, very easy. I'm going to change my colour scheme. This one I've used very vanilla, champagne foil, and the ribbon there is a retired one, that's Blushing Bride. But today it will all be current. So let me tell you the card pieces that you're going to need first of all. You need a card base in Shimmery White, which measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, which is 21 by 14.5 centimetres. And then you need 2 pieces of silver foil, and that should measure 4 inches by 5 5/8 inches, which is 10.25 by 14.25. Just say 2 pieces. And you also need 2 pieces of this Shimmery White, which should measure 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 10 by 14 centimetres. And then you will need 1 piece of silver foil, which is 3 inches by 3 inches, which is approximately 7.5 by 7.5 centimetres. Another piece of silver foil, which is approximately 1 1/2 by 1 1/2 inches, which is 4 by 4 centimetres. And then you'll need a piece of silver foil, which measures 5/8 of an inch by 3 3/8 inches, which is 1.5 by 8.5 centimetres. And then another piece of Shimmery White, which measures 1/2 an inch by 3 1/4 inches, which is 1.2 by 8.2 centimetres. So we're going to start off by doing our die cuts, which is going to be those 3 pieces. So I'll bring up my Big Shot first of all. And the plates I'm going to be using are, oh here they are. I am using my regular platform with the thin die adapter, and I'm using the precision base plate, and I am using a very warped cutting mat. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 3 inch by 3 inch silver foil, and I am using the Rose Garden Thinlits, and I'm going to be using that one, and I'm also using this small flower, which is what I've done on the inside of my card, and that's what the small piece of foil is for. So I'll do those first. Make sure I've got my paper piercer handy. Right, cutting mat. Now the way I cut dies like this, I put them through the Big Shot once and twice, and then I change the position, and then I put them through twice again, backwards and forwards. Oops, come back. When you're doing a job like this, the precision base plate is absolutely amazing. So all those pieces will come out easily. I'm going to have to do it straight away because I need the die again. So let's just get that. If there are a lot of smaller pieces, I would have used my die brush to get these pieces out. But there aren't many, so it's just as quick to use the paper piercer. Okay, so that's that one beautifully die cut. And then there's this one for the inside. I'm just trying to find which of the holes I can push to actually push it out. And there we go, that one's all nice and clear as well. So that one's done with, so let's move that over there. We'll just get rid of the rubbish here. Oops. And then this is one of the pieces of Shimmery White that measures 3 7/8 by 5.5 inches. Now what I need to do is I need to cut the rows out. I haven't got any particular measurements for you. All I can say is that we're going to have a sentiment coming down here. Let me show you on here. And you need to leave enough room for the ends of the ribbons to come down here without showing through from under there. This one I've actually moved a little bit too far over, so I'm going to move it back slightly for this one. Okay, but you will see that I am going to leave enough room there for the ends of my ribbons, and I am just making that sort of halfway between there. So again, what I'm going to do is, in fact no, I don't need to do it on this one, do I? Because I don't need the actual rows. All I need it to do is to cut the shape out, which I think that will have done. Yes, I can sort that one out later. Hopefully I can use that for another project. So that's fine like that. Now I want to dry emboss that. So I'm going to move the precision base plate. That can go over there. And my normal 2 cutting mats, and I'm using the Simple Stripes embossing folder. If you have problems with your embossing folders cutting or tearing into your cardstock, if you put our thick vellum inside, I do both sides. You may be able to get away with just one side, and that would be on this one, and it will stop the tearing. It's absolutely amazing. It's something that I picked up from France Martin, otherwise known as Frenchie, and I learned that from her years ago. She had a video, but she's now brought out a new one, updated it. I will leave the link in the details below the box, because it is an excellent tip. Right, I think that's nice and straight. Because it is single lines, you do need to make sure it is straight, unless you want to deliberately do lines at an angle, which you can do, and then you just put it in whichever angle you want. But if it's just a slight bit crooked, it looks funny. I know, I've done it. Right, now when you put this the embossing folder in here, it's just about fits in here because it's a 6-inch embossing folder. Just make sure it's right the way in. No, I don't need the thin die adapter, do I? Not when I'm embossing. So ignore what I said earlier. I'm just using my Big Shot platform, 2 cutting mats and my embossing folder. That's better. And there we go. Okay, so that's beautifully embossed. No tearing or anything on here. Right, so that's that one finished with. That one finished with. Let's move the mats out of the way. And I don't think we need the big shot now, do I? Now we come to the fun bit. So what you need to do is, I like to have my silicone mat underneath me. Now I use fast fuse on this bit. You could use tear and tape, but if you use that, do it exactly the same as I'm doing this one, and that is I just put a little bit on as close to the edge as I can, and then I do the next bit. I just do a little bit at a time so that I can actually stay close to the edge there, to the cut edge. Which is quite easy to do if you're using the tear and tape as well. Okay, I think I've probably got everything there. The light's shining on it nicely so I can see where the gaps are. And the only gaps left now are really very small ones. Now all you need to do, this is just so easy, is get your ribbon, and I am using our shimmer ribbon in Pool Party. I think we're calling it shimmer ribbon, yeah, shimmer ribbon. And you just lay it down with the first piece. Make sure that you're going half on, half off this piece here, because you don't want to start off so that you're right on the edge, because you'll have a gap once you adhere this to your foil. So I am going half on, half off, and I am trying to make sure that my ribbon is straight, which is quite easy when you've got these lines here. And I'm not coming too far over because I don't want to use too much ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to get my ribbon scissors, cut that off. I'm going to show it to you from the other side so you can see how much I went up on the edge there. Okay, I haven't got the full strip down here. I just made sure that there's quite a bit of anchorage at the back there. And then you just need to butt that ribbon right up to the first one. And what I do is I put one side down first. When I'm happy that's in place, then I butt that one up, and then I push it down onto the fast fuse. So butt that one up, push it down onto the fast fuse, bring that one over. I'm pulling it so that it's staying nice and taut, but not so tight that it's making my paper, my cardstock buckle. Okay, so that one down, make sure it's butting right up, and then butt that one right up, and then cut it off. You see how much gap I'm leaving here from the end. Right, now butt that one up. And then the left hand side. I mean, obviously there are gaps between these, but when we stick them down, they won't be seen. Now that one's not very good, is it? Let's try that again. I think it's that one that's not really... Oh, it's okay. And this one. That's a nuisance. I'm going to need an extra strip of ribbon just for the tiniest of gaps. Can you see that? Going to have another strip of ribbon for that little bit. Mind you, I only need to do it from here. Okay, so that's all you need to do. So you've filled up your ribbon. So what we're going to do next is we're going to adhere this onto our silver layer. Excuse me, I got something tickling my eye. That's better. I think my fringe needs cutting. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do, again, I am using, no, not again, I'm using Tombow for this. You could use Fast Fuse or you could use the tear and tape. And what I do make sure that I put a little bit of glue on the ends of the ribbon. Just to make it a little bit extra secure. Now I can put some right at the top there because I've gone over cardstock rather than the cutout. And then just put some adhesive down the side here as well. Don't think I've got any down there, have I? I think it all went into the groove. Yep, that's okay. So I'm going to adhere this. I should be using my silicone mat. I've got glue there. Right, so get this nicely centered. Next, what we need to do is to get our rose, and what we're going to do with this is we are going to slot it in there, but obviously it needs something to hold it there. I am using Fast Fuse for this. No, I'm not. I'm using Tombow for this. I don't know how you would use Fast Fuse on this, but if that is your glue of choice, then you will know the best way of doing it. If you're using Tombow like me, use your silicone mat, but hold your rose so that it's not going to move, because if you get any of the Tombow on your silicone mat and your rose moves, it's going to get glue on the shiny bit on the other side, and you really don't want that. So let's just go very careful as we get some little bits of Tombow out. You don't have to get glue on every part of the rose. There are quite a lot of thick areas where it'll be enough just to get some Tombow so that it holds. You see, I've just gone and got some Tombow on my silicone mat there, so if my rose moves, it's going to get the glue on it. Now I want to turn this round to come to the other side. No, don't you dare move. Holding my breath while I'm doing that. Right, okay, so that's that bit. Now where's my tweezers? Now goes into there. Might need a little bit of encouragement just to actually fill right into the slot, but there we go. That's how it works. Isn't that lovely? It's really quite different, isn't it? Let me just show you. I was doing this back in, I first did one in 2011, and I did one in a class in 2012, and that was the one I did a lot plainer, as you can see. In fact, let me take that out of there because there's a glare on it. But if I remember rightly, the shape, the flower was that was a punch. But you can see that there was a white line around there as well to give it a bit of definition. Okay. So, let me just pick this up. So this is my idea that's just taken it on to the next stage. So what I'm going to do is just going to adhere these two pieces on. Put this on the front of my card. When I thought about doing a video showing you this, I had so many ideas running through my mind of different things that I could do. I mean, I had all ideas about embellishing the flower, the rose, putting some leaves around it and such like. Possibilities are endless. Right, let me just pop these two on as well. Let's do this one first. You can move over. I will show you another two that I did. They're not complete cards because they were the first two trial run that I did, but they didn't work out, and you'll see why. But I persevered because I knew that it would work out in the end. In fact, stop talking for a minute. Concentrate on what you're doing. That's better. Okay, now we pop this inside the card. And with the little flower that I've put in here, I did think about putting a piece of cardstock behind it to give it the same colour as the front there. But I didn't. But they're just ideas for you if you want to take it a step further than I've taken mine. Whoops, that came out a bit quick. I'm going to have to try and find some paper to blot that on. Right, yes, I can see some. Let's just take that. There we go. There's no right or wrong way of doing that one. In fact, I might come back afterwards and just put some Pool Party on top there. I might go to the Daisy Delight stamp set and stamp one of those. Whatever I do, there'll be a picture of this, a photograph of this on my blog tomorrow when I post the video, so you'll be able to see what I actually finished up doing with it. Now the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my sentiment down here, and for that I'm using the Vertical Greetings stamp set, and I'm using Happy Birthday. I'd quite like to have congratulations, but I don't like congrats, so I'll stick to the Happy Birthday. And this is my stamp, and I'm going to use Pool Party ink. Now I need to get my head over this. Yep, that's okay. I have got another one up there that I've already done in case I don't get this very straight. Oops. Wow, look at that. That is good. Right, so let's move that out of the way. I'm going to pop this onto my silver. Oh, by the way, for my online customers, in February 2018, I'm running another prize draw, and the prize this time is going to be a Big Shot machine. So if you'd like to be in with the chance of winning that, please shop in my online store. The winner for last month has been named and it's on my blog, so if you want to check that one out, please do. Now the only thing I'm going to do different here, oh no I'm not because it's too far away, I was going to say that I was going to pop that up on Dimensionals, but I'm not because it's out of reach. So I'm going to use Tombow again. The reason I was thinking about doing it is because this is embossed and it's raised. This will only stick on the raised parts. I mean, it's not a problem, but I just thought that it might be better if I used Dimensionals. Now I don't know if I can move this a bit further over. In fact, no, I think it still looks nice about the position that I had it. Right, so let's pop that down. Just make sure that looks straight. I think so. So when you do this, if you're using glue, whether it's wet glue or tape, just make sure that you push it down so that it does get adhered on all the crossbars going across there. Okay, so that's that, I'm going to be finishing that off. Let me just show you the other two that I did. The first one I did was this one. You may remember that ribbon from last year's celebration, which I thought that one looks quite nice, but it was this that wasn't right. This looks really very bumpy, so I rejected that idea. And then this one is using the ribbon, same as this, it's shimmery, but this one's as one of the free gifts in this year's celebration. But again, I didn't like all the bumpy bits around here, which is why I finished up doing the dry embossing, and that really made it look beautiful. And what else I worked out is, if you buy the Rose Wonder Thinlit dies and also the Vertical Greetings as a clear mount stamp set, that will cost you £45, which means you'll be able to choose a free gift from Celebration, which means you could choose that ribbon. Now there's the result, isn't it? So this is today's project. Oh well, I will leave these here. At least you can see the different colours and what have you. I hope you like it, and I hope you decide to give it a try. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them in the box below the video. If you'd like to purchase any of these products that I've used, and also be in with a chance for winning a big shot, please shop online at www.jambicards.stampinup.net, and your name will be entered for the draw. And if you would like to be notified every time I upload a new video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you will be notified each time that I do upload, which is Wednesdays and Sundays. And finally, if you'd like to see more ideas and more inspiration, please visit my blog. I do a daily blog, and there's normally a new card there every day, and you may well think it's worth checking out. I give the instructions how I made the card. It's just that I don't do a video for everything that I do. So there you go. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.